Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. How the hell are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing well, and thanks so much for tuning in to this flash episode of Life with Johnny Nocash. And that's exactly what this podcast is all about. It's all about doing things off the cuff, telling you how it is, and that is exactly why I've decided to do this flash episode, and that is because I had quite the fucking encounter last night. Something that I was expecting to happen eventually. I didn't know when, but I knew it was going to come at some point. Now, I'm doing this because, again, van life sometimes gets this reputation that it is complete, like, fantasy world and that everything is just all rainbows and bikinis and shit. It's not. I mean, there's some days that are fantastic and there's other days like you're always putting yourself at risk. And that is exactly what today's episode is going to be about, because I've been kind of talking about how easy it's been in the last couple episodes, that's for sure. And this new van has made things so much easier for me. But at the same time, you're still going to have instances like the one I'm going to talk about today. Now, as you know, you're probably listening to this on your favorite streaming app. I'm also doing these as videos. So if you ever wanted to watch the podcast while you're cooking dinner or whatever you do, that's going to be over on YouTube. So you can be sure to check that out. Now, without further ado, I've got a neat little thing here for you coming right up. But we're going to jump into one of the strangest things, but it was inevitable to happen to me in some time. Here we go. I'm living in a van playing outlaw tunes. Life with Johnny Nocash. Smoking them smokes and drinking that booze. Life with Johnny Nocash. Where I go, how the fuck don't know. I'm off the grid on dusty roads. There ain't no better way of eating beans. All right. I hope you like that. I made that a few days ago. And I thought to myself, this is episode 25 is coming up. It would be really good to, at the very least, experiment with an actual intro song instead of using something that was released off of a completely separate kind of project. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a little chuckle there. I had a fucking blast writing that. That was a lot of fun. So let me know if you liked it or if you thought it was too cheesy or dinky. But yeah, feedback is always encouraged. So thanks again for tuning in. And, normally my episodes have one kind of topic and I kind of branch off from that. In today's episode, I'm going to be straight up telling you about an experience I had last night. And it's a wild one. I think living in a van, sometimes you get a little comfortable, sometimes you get a little nervous, and your paranoia can really fluctuate depending on the day. And something happened last night, which I'm going to get into right now, that I think needs to be addressed for anybody that is planning on living in a van, that this shit is going to happen eventually. So as you know, I love getting off into the mountains, into the woods, and having fires and just spending time by myself while I can freely and all night long, if I want, play guitar and be loud. That's one of the things. My voice really carries, and in order for me to practice at a comfortable level, I need to be loud and not hold myself back. So yesterday, I had just said, the fucking hell with it. I am getting off the grid. I'm going up a logging road, and I'm just going to get away for about 3 or 4 days. I got enough food. I got enough booze. I got enough smokes. I'm good to go. So I start traveling. And, I've been driving for quite some time, especially in the south part of Vancouver Island. I kind of know it well enough, but at the same time, I've really never found my own off-road spot to camp. Most of the times it's due to like online maps or something like that, but I've never found my own spot on the island that I really, really enjoyed. So I was on the hunt for one of these fucking things. And my headlights are not fucking good at night. So I try and do all my driving during the day, and it's starting to get dark, and I'm starting to get nervous of where the hell I can park, because the last thing I want is to have to park into a fucking parking lot somewhere and then even risk getting, a ticket or towed, because as I've said in previous episodes, man, the island is quite strict with overnight sleeping and camping and things like that. So I'm getting desperate at this point. So I'm going down these back roads and I'm following this sign saying camping. So I'm just following, and I finally come down this small dirt road, and it turns out to be a campsite, of course, which you have to pay for, which I ain't doing, right? I got my own house. I don't need your fucking spot. I can go somewhere else. Thank you very much. So I go into the campsite, I pull a U-turn, and I start heading back. As I'm heading out of the campsite, I see to my right a road that I must have missed on my way in that I just didn't see. And it's a logging road. No signs. There's nothing saying like, trucks only or logging trucks only or private property. Nothing like that. There's no gate. There's no stop sign. Fuck all. Perfect. So I head up there, and goddamn, it could have been better because it was a garbage dump. But it was my own garbage dump, all to myself. There is this huge mound of metal, and there is this massive fucking tank of some sort on either side, and just a small spot for me to park. And it was perfect in the sense of, from the road below, you wouldn't be able to see me. You wouldn't be able to see with my lights on. So I felt completely camouflaged, even though I got a white van. But I did feel safe. Now, it was raining, and it was really foggy that night. And even as beautiful as it was, I said, tomorrow morning, that's when I'm going to have my fire. I'm going to cook up my bacon and eggs, and I'm going to enjoy being outside again. And just that smell of a fire, I was craving it. So that night was party time. So I cracked my fucking White Lightning. I had a couple doobies going. I started cooking up some stinky chicken, but I'm feeling fine today. So thank God. And I'm having a full-on party. I had my computer out. I had my guitar, my whole recording system out to have a long night of recording and just having a good time with no distractions. At this point, it is dark. It's about, 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock at night. And I'm just doing my thing, having my drinks, getting ready to record. And the next thing I hear is this smash on the side of my van. And I'm not around anything. So I pull off my headphones. I'm like, what the fuck? And boom, 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 right on the side. And I forgot to mention this. I popped mushrooms. So I'm fucking, right at that moment, I'm fucking flying. And my whole body's getting numb. My head's not thinking right. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And all I hear is, who the fuck told you could be here? Hey, get out of here. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My entire home is not set up to drive, nor am I. I'm 4 drinks in. I'm fucking flying on mushrooms, and I've smoked about 2 joints. I'm settled down. And this guy keeps smashing the side of my fucking van. And I'm literally in shock, in awe. I'm stuttering. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, what the fuck, man? And he's like, who the fuck told you could be here? And I open the door. Now, just to let everyone know that I have bear mace, I have air horns, and I don't have a fucking gun, but I do have some protection here if need be, which is always good. Just on the off chance, it's just good to be safe and to have something to protect yourself if need be. So I opened the door. My eyes must have been like raccoon eyes, man, because I was just fucking flying. And I opened the door to this light beam shining on me. And it's the guy with his phone. He's filming this. He's like, who the fuck told you could be here? And he's waving this huge stick. And I'm talking 3.5 feet. This big fucking staff. And he's waving it at me. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Jesus Christ, calm the fuck down. He's like, who the fuck told you you could be here? Get the fuck out of here. And he's asking me, who told you? And I'm like, nobody fucking told me, man. I just found this fucking road myself. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, dude, there is no signs. And I swear to God, everyone, there is no signs indicating that this was a private property, that there was no parking, that this was only for specific vehicles, nothing. And that's why I felt comfortable going up this road. And it's a fucking dump. I'm like, what are you protecting, man? You're fucking scrap metal? Like, I'm not even fucking interested. So I'm tripping balls, man. This guy's waving this huge stick at me, and he's filming me. He's like, I got your fucking van. I'm going to show everybody this video. I'm like, I don't give a shit, man. I haven't done anything fucking wrong. He's like, well, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, well, give me a minute. And he's like, no, get the fuck out of here right now. Now, I've got everything out. Like, my entire, like, I've got booze out. I've got drinks out. My cutlery and my fucking dishes and shit. Everything's fucking out. My guitar. And I'm drunk. And I'm high. And now I gotta drive. Now, there was no reasoning with this guy. This guy was fucking nuts. He was waving this stick like a fucking psychopath. Something in like some bad B movie. And I couldn't get a look at him either. I couldn't tell like what he was wearing or anything, but he was a big guy. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta fucking get out of here. So I put on my boots. I put on my jacket. He was not going to let me put anything away. Like he wanted me off this property immediately. So I step out and I'm like, dude, you really need to fucking put up some goddamn signs there if you don't expect anybody to come up here to camp. I'm like, I had no goddamn idea, so just chill out and relax, all right? You could have asked me nicely, for fuck's sakes. So I end up getting behind the wheel, and folks, if anybody knows me personally, I hate drinking and driving. And I hate people who do it. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, there's just no reason to do it. And I can't say that I've drank and drove since I was like in my 20s or something like that. Like, not even a couple beers. I avoid it. But here I am, fucked and high on mushrooms. My lights don't fucking work at night. It is pitch blackout. It is foggy. It is raining out. I'm like, fuck. So I start the fucking van, and I can see this guy in my rearview mirror just waving this stick around. And I'm just like, all right, man, like, I guess I got to give this a shot. So I start driving down the road, the logging road, and I got no fucking lights. Can't see a goddamn thing, you know? And I finally make it to the paved road, and the paved road brings me right to the Trans-Canada Highway. I got to pull on to the fucking Trans-Canada Highway, high as fuck, drunk as fuck, and with no fucking headlights. Man, did I ever, like, sober up quick. You know, I'm sure you've all been in that, like, if you're getting chased by the cops or something, and you, for whatever reason, you can just sober the fuck up and get her done. That's exactly what happened here. Now, the booze feeling seemed to have gone away. The mushrooms feeling seemed to have gone away. But goddamn, boys and girls, I was fucking tripping. So I pull onto the highway, and it's only reflectors that and it's a windy road up and down these quite big hills along the side of the ocean. And all I can fucking see are these reflectors that are just like, it's turning into chasers, like from left to right, and it's raining and it's foggy. I can't see shit. And there's these people behind me, and I'm trying to drive slow, but at the same time, I'm also trying to fucking stay within, traffic speed. God damn, man. I was terrified, more terrified about the fact of me having to drive through this shit than I was about that psychopath. I almost should have just taken my chances and fucking thrown down with them. Like, I don't know what would have been worse. But I'm finally driving and I see this sign that there's a rest area, and goddamn was I happy. And I just pulled into this rest area. My eyes were just, the size of fucking golf balls. I couldn't believe I made it. I looked behind me into the back of where my van was. Nothing tipped over, nothing. I don't know what. It must have been the best I've ever drove, because usually when I'm bombing around, even if everything's secured, shit's knocking all over the place. But not a goddamn thing moved. Like, not even my can of beer, not my drink, nothing. It was all intact. My ashtray, like, nothing spilled. I couldn't fucking believe it. And oh my God. This was bound to happen. I mean, not the mushrooms part, but somebody slightly violently, demanding that I get off property. I have stayed at quite a few spots that weren't labeled, but you could tell was clearly somebody's property, due to the amount of traffic going through and whatnot. But I had no idea that this was going to happen that night. It was such a write-off that I couldn't stay there. It was such a pain in the ass that I wasn't able to have the fire, or I wasn't able to record or do anything that I kind of planned on doing there. And the funny thing is this guy, if he had to just talk to me, and I, would have said, like, I can either leave or you can just be cool and I'll leave first thing in the morning so I don't put anybody at risk. But this guy was seeing fucking red. There was no reasoning with this guy. Like I said, I've got dents on the side of the van now because of the stick that he was smashing in the side of it. But man, oh man, any van lifers out there, have you had this happen to you? Have you ever had like almost a violent encounter with, somebody where you're on their property or something? Because goddamn, man, it was like the time I stumbled across a bear. Like, I should have, if I hadn't have been so fucked up, I would have talked him like some sense into this guy. But I was just like, man, I'm too high for this shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And fortunately enough, I made it safe. And I ended up crashing. Like, by the time I pulled in, man, I was sober as fuck. Like, I was ready for bed. So I went straight to bed shortly after parking and pulling in. But it was quite the experience. I knew this was going to happen eventually, but it's just so funny that it happened now. And I am back at the lagoon. Even though I can't really record to the level that I want to in this particular area, I'm safe. Nobody's bothered me in, the 14 days that I've accumulated staying here over the last little while. And, it's loud, it's windy, but at least I don't have some fucking psychopath smashing a fucking 3-foot stick against the side of the van in the middle of the night while I'm high on mushrooms. So that's my story, folks. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you had a couple laughs here or there. I hope that I don't have to go through this shit all the time. I hope that the next episode isn't so sporadic. I like kind of trying to keep things, within a schedule. And I've said that a number of times and I keep on failing. So thanks again to everybody who tuned into this Flash episode. I hope you liked it. I hope you like the format of it. Sometimes when something happens to me, I like to just set the mic up and get it out and off my chest as quickly as possible while it's fresh. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, if you want to check out the old Instagram, I definitely have a photo of myself at this spot on my Instagram, so you can check that out. That is Johnny Nocash Official. If you want to send some topics of discussion, you can send it over to lifewithjohnnynocash@gmail.com. If you want to get some merch, that is johnnynocash.bandcamp.com. And of course, if you'd like to buy me a beer so I don't fucking drive, you can go over to buymeacoffee.com/johnnynocash. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time today, and I'm going to play this jingle one more time before I head out. But thanks again for your ears and now your eyes. I will be back sooner than later. So cheers, y'all. A staggered crawl. I'm out. I'm living in a van playing outlaw tunes. Live with Johnny Nocash. Smoking them smokes and drinking that booze. Live with Johnny Nocash. Where I go, how the fuck don't know. I'm off the grid on dusty roads. There ain't no better way of eating beans.